Jay Leno is a name instantly connected to late-night comedy, cars, and relentless energy. For decades, he has been a fixture of American entertainment, delivering laughs night after night, while amassing one of the most impressive car and motorcycle collections in history. Yet, behind the humor and the dazzling vehicles lies a story of endurance, risk, and the human cost of a life spent performing at full throttle. As Leno approaches retirement, he is redefining what legacy means, not through fame or fortune, but through resilience, generosity, and the quiet courage to step back from the life he built, protecting both his body and spirit. Early career and tireless work ethic. Jay Leno's rise to prominence was fueled by an extraordinary work ethic. Long before late-night fame, Leno performed tirelessly, sometimes over 300 days a year, flying across the country to tell jokes in comedy clubs, while simultaneously building his career as a television host. His energy seemed limitless. He was known for delivering precise, sharp humor and connecting with audiences across the nation. But the demands of constant travel and performance came with physical and emotional costs. Leno rarely paused to rest, often sacrificing personal time, family moments, and even sleep to maintain his schedule. This period of tireless commitment laid the foundation for his eventual success on The Tonight Show. Yet it also meant that his body was accumulating the strain of decades of non-stop activity, making him more vulnerable to the unexpected accidents that would later define his decision to retire. A passion for cars. Parallel to his comedy career, Leno developed a lifelong obsession with vehicles. He collected cars and motorcycles with an unmatched enthusiasm, often acquiring rare or vintage models and restoring them to pristine condition. Leno's garage became a personal museum, a testament to decades of curiosity, mechanical skill, and dedication. This passion was not just a hobby. It reflected his meticulous nature and drive for mastery. Beyond ownership, Leno actively engaged in mechanical restoration, often spending hours in his garage working hands-on with vehicles, understanding every detail. For him, cars symbolized freedom, creativity, and the joy of discovery. Yet this passion, intense as it was, would later intersect with danger, reminding him that even the most beloved pursuits carry risk when pursued without pause, particularly in later years. The fire incident. In late 2022, Leno faced one of the most terrifying experiences of his life while working on a vintage steam car. A fuel line malfunction sent gasoline spraying across his chest and face, engulfing him in flames. The resulting burns were severe, requiring skin grafts and a 10-day stay in a burn unit. Despite the trauma, Leno returned to performing just 2 weeks later, showcasing his legendary determination. However, this decision also demonstrated the dangerous limits he had pushed his body to. The fire incident revealed not only his courage, but also the physical vulnerability that comes with age, emphasizing the delicate balance between passion and survival. For the first time, the invincible public persona was confronted with the reality of mortality and the fragility of human life. Motorcycle accident. Shortly after recovering from the fire, Leno experienced another near-catastrophic accident. Riding a vintage motorcycle, he was struck by a wire strung across a parking lot, breaking his collarbone, 2 ribs, and both kneecaps. The injuries compounded the physical toll from the previous fire, leaving him exhausted and in chronic pain. For a man whose identity had been built on resilience and relentless activity, this was a profound challenge. The accidents forced Leno to confront the reality that his body was no longer indestructible, and recovery required patience, care, and acceptance of limitations. These events became pivotal in his decision to step away from the high-intensity lifestyle that had defined much of his career. reflection, and realization. At 73, these experiences prompted Leno to deeply reflect on his life and career. The relentless pace of performing, collecting, and working on vehicles, combined with his recent physical trauma, highlighted the importance of survival over ambition. Leno recognized that stepping back was not a retreat, but a conscious choice to prioritize health, family, and longevity. His reflections reveal the human side of a public figure often perceived as indefatigable. For decades, audiences had seen his humor, energy, and charisma, but rarely the vulnerability behind it. Leno's realization underscores a universal truth. Even those who appear unstoppable must occasionally pause and reassess the demands of life, particularly when health and well-being are at stake. Letting go of the garage. One of the most emotionally significant aspects of Leno's retirement is his decision to dismantle his legendary garage, home to over 180 cars and 160 motorcycles valued at more than $100 million. Rather than selling for profit, he is donating vehicles to museums, technical schools, and charities to inspire future generations of mechanics and engineers. This decision reflects a remarkable combination of pragmatism and generosity, highlighting Leno's desire to pass on knowledge and passion rather than wealth. The process of letting go carries emotional weight. These cars were more than machines. They were extensions of his personality and decades of dedication. By redistributing them thoughtfully, Leno is ensuring his legacy continues in ways that educate, inspire, and honor the craftsmanship he has cherished for decades. Preserving a personal core. Although most of his collection is being distributed, Leno is keeping a small core of vehicles for a deeply personal project, rumored to be a documentary titled The Last Ride. This project aims to capture Leno beyond his polished television persona, showing him recovering from injuries, confronting mortality, and reflecting on his career. It is a rare glimpse into the private life of a public figure, highlighting vulnerability, resilience, and self-reflection. By documenting these experiences, Leno creates a permanent record of lessons learned, struggles overcome, and the emotional realities of a life spent pushing limits. It illustrates that legacy is not only about fame and accolades, but also about honesty, authenticity, and sharing the human journey. Family and devotion. Throughout his life, Leno's wife, Mavis, has been a constant source of support and grounding. In The Last Ride, she speaks candidly about fear, devotion, and the challenges of standing beside someone who has lived life at full speed. Her perspective offers viewers insight into the private side of Leno's existence, emphasizing the sacrifices and care required to maintain family bonds amid public demands. The documentary reportedly captures moments of tenderness, vulnerability, and partnership, showing that even the most energetic, independent individuals rely on love and support to navigate life's unexpected hardships. Family emerges as both motivation and anchor, reminding Leno and audiences alike that personal relationships matter as much as professional accomplishments. Legacy beyond fame. Leno's retirement is a conscious effort to preserve his health and ensure his legacy extends beyond entertainment. By donating vehicles, mentoring, and sharing his personal story through documentary work, he leaves a multidimensional imprint on the world. He teaches resilience through action, showing that true influence comes not from fame alone, but from thoughtful choices, integrity, and the ability to inspire others. His story demonstrates that leaving the spotlight does not mean stepping away from impact. It means reshaping influence in a way that prioritizes sustainability, wisdom, and meaningful contributions. Leno's thoughtful approach sets an example for future generations, combining humor, generosity, and personal accountability. The human side of a legend. For decades, Leno seemed invincible to audiences, always on stage, always performing, always entertaining. Yet his recent experiences have reminded him and the public that even legends are human. Injury, vulnerability, and reflection have revealed the emotional and physical cost of relentless work. Leno's story humanizes the icon, showing that humor, charisma, and public admiration coexist with fragility, fear, and the need for self-preservation. By embracing his limits, prioritizing family, and thoughtfully planning the final chapters of his career, Leno demonstrates that even the most celebrated lives are shaped by hard choices, resilience, and the courage to accept change gracefully. Final reflections. Jay Leno's retirement marks more than the end of a career. It is a celebration of resilience, creativity, and a life lived fully. Through laughter, passion, and determination, he entertained millions, built a remarkable collection, and inspired countless individuals. Yet it is in his decision to step back, focus on recovery, and share his journey with honesty that his most profound legacy emerges. Leno teaches that stepping away from the spotlight is not weakness, but strength. A choice to honor oneself, protect loved ones, and create a lasting, positive impact. His story reminds us that even legends must pause, reflect, and embrace the human side of life.